What?
If you have not become a patron of the Geocache Talk Network, what are you waiting for? Patron levels start as low as a Bison Tube level at $3 a month. To sign up is easy. Simply go to the Geocache Talk website and click on the Become a Patron button, or go to patreon.com/Geocache Talk. Patrons now get the famous Blackout Coin, invites to special events, and other really great items throughout the year. Become a patron today. Have you subscribed to FTF Magazine yet? FTF Magazine is the #1 geocaching magazine available. It is a quarterly magazine that you can be part of. Submit your geocaching milestones and adventures to be published. FTF Magazine is also interactive with puzzles to solve and the hunt to find Spartacus. If you can solve the puzzle or find Spartacus, then you will be entered in to win a special pack tag. Every new subscription, you will receive a special swag pack. Subscribing is easy. Just visit FTF's website, ftfgeo.com. Don't miss out and subscribe today.
So I pushed the wrong button.
Oh, it's time for the show.
Oh, sorry. Oh. So I was too busy pointing. There we are pointing, by the way.
That's funny.
Isn't that funny? But what was funny was I pushed the closing. Well, the closing doesn't have the FTF, the commercial and all that. So I thought, I better stop it. So I stopped it. You were singing it. Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, because our microphones are muted during the intro. So I just kind of, and you can't see us. So I kind of, marched to the beat of my own drum there at the intro. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh,
whoops.
Hi, everybody.
We're live. No, we're not live. Yeah, it's like, whoops.
We have technical difficulties.
Well, hey, everyone. Time for Puzzle Talk, the geocaching puzzle podcast brought to you by the Geocache Talk Network. And here are your hosts, Charles Watkins, a.k.a. Pathfinder 33. I'm not sure what the 33 is for. And Tom Brotherman, a.k.a. Electric Water Boy. Good evening, gentlemen.
Howdy.
What's the 33 for? No reason?
Because he wasn't the 32nd.
Don't ask.
No, there.
Hey, everybody.
3 was kind of always, for whatever reason, been my lucky number, and whatnot. But there's a deal in, what was it in Europe when I was there, where double numbers are supposed to be like your 22nd birthday, your 11th birthday, your 33rd birthday were supposed to be like special events, and that year is supposed to be like a good luck year for you,
right?
And whatnot. So I was like, oh yeah, that sounds good. I could always use some good luck.
Right.
So how was 33?
Was that your age when you married this wonderful woman here?
Dude, no, I was way older than that.
Oh, okay.
No, not by much though. And in fact, it was that I was younger than that when I started geocaching. So
it just was a great number.
Yeah, it just was a number that I picked. I figured if 3 was my lucky number, and after living in Europe, that my 33rd birthday was coming around the chute or something like that. All right,
Yeah. 333 would have been a real symmetrical type thing, but that's okay.
Trying not to live that long.
300.
Gosh, I was trying not to surpass my 40th birthday. And
right.
Here I am at 41. So
I mean, you did. Thank you for your service. You did. did have life and limb potentially damaged out there in the real world as you were.
No, yeah. So appreciate it, but
yeah.
So
righty.
I've cheated death more than once,
and not just in the military.
No. But I'm sure the Grim Reaper's somewhere like, oh, I almost had him. That close.
Probably more jeeping than. Well, no, probably both. You got some dangerous. You got in some dangerous places in the world.
Yeah, Laura I've probably scared her half to death more than I have me in the Jeep. But where we go jeeping up in the mountains, it's you're on a shelf road that's about a little wider than the Jeep that I have. And there's like 1,000-foot drop to the bottom.
Oh yeah,
you go 6 inches that way.
Yeah.
So
you tumbled over that, then
it's
curtains.
So, curtains, yeah.
It's curtains. All right. Well, this is going to be, I think, interesting. We're going to get into some news before we get into the show, but I'm kind of looking forward to these little gems. But first, some news. So take it away, Charles.
It's breaking, isn't it? Because it came out today, didn't it?
Breaking.
Some of it did. Yeah.
Here, let me hit the button.
All right, as we're all aware, Puzzle Talk merchandise is still available in the Geocache Talk store. Go to geocachetalk.com and click on the store tab at the top, or you can go directly to the store at chromiaprint.com/collections/geocaching. And you can get all of the cool Puzzle Talk merch that you want there, except for the coins. The coins are all gone. We've got a handful of them left that we're going to use for contests, and if you win one, we'll mail you one. But other than that, Puzzle Talk coins are gone. They were a hot item.
Hot commodity.
I'll sell you one.
You might be able to win one sometime, but yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. Our Right in the Rain is our sponsor this month. It's not in this week's show notes, but they are still a sponsor through the 3rd of August, I believe, if that's correct.
Correct.
We do have a code word for you to input into the Right in the Rain website for 20% off of your total order. That includes items that are on sale. So they'll allow you to double dip. If you can find something that's on sale for 50% off, they'll allow you to add that 20% to it so that it is now 70% off for you. Promo code Geocache21. Go to Right in the Rain. They are the makers of the all-weather notebook and make the absolute best log sheets because they can get soaking wet and you can still write on them. They're absolutely amazing paper. And so go visit our sponsor, Right in the Rain, this month. Use Geocache21 and get an additional 20% off of your total order at checkout.
Correct.
All right. And announced today, if you are a premium member, you got this email in your inbox today that Groundspeak is coming out with a new geocaching souvenir promotion. It is the 7 Summits of the World. So get your hiking boots on because you're going to need them. There is a new leaderboard challenge that is coming out. And let's see if we just open up this website.
Yeah, what you got to do? Because I saw the email, but I didn't get a chance to read it. Because
new leaderboard challenge. Reach the peak. Official.
All right.
On the official blogs. I'll take that down.
So this is how you participate in this souvenir promotion. Starting on August 2nd at noon UTC through March 6th, 2022, collect points by logging geocaches and adventure locations. Earn up to 2 new souvenirs each month of the challenge by collecting enough points to reach the summit of each month's mountain. All right. So this is the cool thing about this is I love that they're bringing this back. They're actually instituting time limits on this. So if you get in there and you go August 2nd to, the 1st of September, that's the first 2 souvenirs are going to be released. And so if you don't geocache in August or September and then jump in October, you can't go backwards and get the souvenirs from August and September that you missed. You just missed them. So make sure that you are watching. There is a point scheme for all of these. So for this first month's challenge is how do you say this? Puncak Jaya. It is the highest summit in Oceania, right? So if you include Oceania with Australia, then this is the highest mountain peak in Oceania at 4,884 meters. Coincidentally, you need 4,884 points to earn the summit souvenir.
Yep.
Right? Now, they have a point scheme, and it's on the website. If you get into our show notes after the show, there's a link to it in the show notes, or you can go to Groundspeak's geocaching.com/blog, and it's in there somewhere in the logbook blog that they do. So
I think each month might be a little different too.
And that's how I was reading it as well. It says here are the point values for the first month of the challenge. Right. And so if you find a multi-cache, you get 600 points. A mystery cache, you get 500. An earth cache, you get 450. An adventure location, you get 350. And then a found it log on any other log that you get will give you 325 points. Right
Found
now,
adventure location.
Yeah,
I like how they're changing the wording there. Right, so it's no longer an adventure lab; it's an adventure location with 5 labs underneath it.
So do you get 350 per location, like per?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
That remains to be seen.
I would think that's the way that would work. Maybe not.
I don't know.
Man, you could blow through some adventure labs.
so I did the math earlier today, and at you need to find 8 multi-caches and one any other cache type, right? And I found it log on 8 multis and 1 any other cache type, and you get both the base camp and the summit for the first month. Okay. So 8 multi-caches, which give you the most amount of points, right? You need to find 8.14 multi-caches at 600 points apiece to max out. So so you do the 8 multi-caches at 600 points apiece is 4,800 points. And then you do a regular found it log at 325. That gives you over the 4,884 points needed. So it's kind of neat. I like that you have to log them. You have to log them within the month. There's no going back. These are like hard timelines that are set by Groundspeak. I like this kind of challenge, because then the couch monkeys who've been hanging out on a bunch of found logs can't just, today's going to be the day, and they backlog 6 months worth of caches and get all of the souvenirs on a single day. That won't work here. So you have to be on top of your game, logging your caches wise, in order to get all of these souvenirs. There are going to be 12 of them. So that's 2 per month for 6 months. And they are all going about the highest location, the highest mountain peaks on the 7 continents. So Denali in North America, Aconcagua in South America, Vincennes in Antarctica, Kilimanjaro in Africa, Everest in Asia, Puncak Jaya in Oceania and Australia, New Zealand, all in that Oceania conglomerate, and then Elbrus in Europe. So, you know, all depends on how you divide the continents. A lot of mountaineers leave Puncak Jaya in Asia, and they don't include Oceania in the actual. I was doing some reading on it earlier today, you know, because I was like, what are this? You know, is this accurate? Because I was like, because Elbrus is actually in Southwest Russia. And so that's where I was looking. I was like, I thought Russia was in Asia.
Yeah.
So then I got to looking, and it all kind of depends on where you draw the lines at. But almost all mountaineering people consider Elbrus because it's just inside the European border, even though it's located in Southwest Russia. But the one that actually came up as a point of contention was Puncak Jaya, which I thought, oh, that's interesting. Because the highest peak in Australia is only at like 7,000 feet.
Oh, okay.
And this one's at like 16,000. So I was like, that's probably a little more impressive this way.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was kind of interesting to see that and realize that even in the mountaineering community, there's some contention about this. But it looks like you have to get enough points every month to match the height of these mountains in meters. So Puncak Jaya is 4,884 meters tall, which is 16,024 feet. But you need the 4,884 points. So it looks like, at least from the outside looking in, on the limited knowledge that we have of this, that you're going to have to get points based off of meters. And so if they go from lowest elevation to highest elevation, you know, then it's going to be, you know, Everest obviously will be last, but you're going to have to get, you know, whatever it is, the 9,950 points to get to the top of Everest. So be interesting to see how the point schemes change every month, but I'm excited for it and ready for this thing to kind of kick off. So
one thing to remember too, for our talking about Oceania, our friends down in Australia and New Zealand area, they did make a note. Don't forget, you log on Monday, August 2nd before noon UTC, convert to your local time here. We suggest that you wait to log until after Monday noon UTC. Which in some places like New Zealand is Tuesday at midnight.
Right.
So I think I think most people that are down there have kind of figured they kind of know that routine.
Yeah, I'm sure they're used to the UTC thing. If Groundspeak would just go to like Zulu time, we'd solve all of this.
Yeah.
But you know, whatever. I'm good with the UTC stuff.
We're going by HTC's. Yeah, so Kitty Cat's saying it was 10 p.m. for her.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, speaking of Kitty Catch, where is it? Kitty Catch.
What do you got? Oh, what'd you get?
That's her travel bug.
Oh, is it? Wow.
That's yours. I got it out of a cache Sunday. Saturday.
Oh, very cool. We got I remember we were Geocache Talk got a few of those sent from HQ, and we give those out, so that's cool. We she says it's her travel bug.
Yep. So all right, well, I guess that's it for news. We're ready to jump on into this thing.
So while you were talking, I did do some reading, and each of the locations in an adventure lab get you points, each one of them. So I'd saved all the nearby adventure labs to do some of this stuff, especially if you live in a place like Texas is hotter than all get out in August.
And what you need to do is probably save them for the month that you're doing Mount Everest. I'm just, if you got to get 10,000 points.
Yeah.
So. All right. Well, let's jump on into this. Tonight's tools that you're going to need are none. because we're not solving.
You need your brain.
Yeah, but we're not solving any of these puzzles tonight. We're going to go over.
Put your brain down.
Yeah, we're going to go over a bunch of them. I do have a public bookmark list made that has all of the caches that we're going to go over, plus all the rest of them that fall within this category on a public bookmark list. I just put it in the chat room so you can pull it up and follow along. And there it is. So it's https://cord.info/bm9x044.
Yes.
So real quick, want to shout out to Dune Buddy for helping with the Project GC filter stuff. Cool. When I was pulling some of this stuff, he sent me a message last week and said, hey, you can pull the entire world all at one time if you just leave the continents blank. And I was like, go. All right. So I went and tried it, and sure enough, so it worked out real well. But shout out to him, and thank you for reaching out with that. Otherwise, I would have been there for a little while. So this bookmark list that I created contains 59 different puzzle caches on it. Some of these puzzles have been solved, though not very many of them. Sure. Criteria for inclusion in this list. So it had to be published prior to January 1st of 2016. So all of the caches on this list are 2015 and older, right? Mm-hmm. And so 2015 and older gets you a lot of things like they didn't have to supply a how to solve the puzzle or can the puzzle actually be solved to their reviewer prior to being published. It does not have to fall within the radius. Right. So there's just any of that older stuff that helps puzzle cachers solve current and new ones. So these are all pre them redoing the rules for puzzle caches, right? Right. They also all had to be an unknown cache type, right? Because they all have to be the question mark, and then they have to be a puzzle subtype. So this list, when I pulled it of caches that were unknowns that were published prior to January 1st, 2016 that had zero found logs on it, came up with like 78 caches. And then I went through and scrubbed the list. And aside from one that I left on the list, all of the ones there were a couple of challenge caches that had not been solved or found that were on the list. And then there were some where it was like the 11-11-11 cache, and you had to find the 10 previous caches in that series that all had something in the container that gave you a portion of the coordinates for the bonus 12-12-12 cache, right? So all of those caches, right? So those caches got kicked out of the list, and it got us down from like 78 to 59, right? So a
few highlighted for tonight,
right? And we're going to look at 5 or 7 of them. I think I've got 7 in the show notes, but if we don't make it to them all, we just don't make it to them all, and that's okay. They're on the bookmark list, so go take a look at the bookmark list. I did kind of pull some fun statistics for these. 38 of the 59 caches on this list are premium member only caches. So if you're not a premium member only, or if you're not a premium member, just know that you're going to be limited to the whatever other 21 caches that are on the list, right? Because 38 of them are premium member only.
Yeah.
The caches cover 5 different continents: North America, South America, Europe, Asia, and Australia. Cool. There are 41 of these caches located in North America, 1 located in South America, 12 located in Europe, 1 located in Asia, and 4 located in Australia.
Cool.
And then years from least to most, that 2009 has 2 of these caches. 2011 and 12 each have 4. 2008 and 2010 have 5 each. 2013 has 6. 2014 has 12. And 2015, which you would, as these caches became more popular, would have the most. It has 21.
Yeah.
The largest concentration of these caches in one area is in Portland, Oregon, or the corresponding place is Corner Brook, which is on St. John's Island in something in Labrador. I forget the full name of the province. It's something in Labrador in Canada. But it's whatever the farthest east province is in Canada. They're all located out on St. John in Canada. Wow. And then the COs, believe it or not, you would have thought that that there were only 1 or 2 per CO on this list at the most. But the cache owner owning the most on this list is Zone 215 with 8. He's got 8 puzzle caches on this list that have not been found. He is the cache owner for the ones up in Corner Brook, outside of Corner Brook in St. John's Island in Canada. And then, exclamation point, outside of Portland, Oregon, owns 7 of these.
Wow.
So that, you've got a vast majority of these from, North America. There you go, Newfoundland. My apologies to the Canadians for not knowing my geography of your wonderful country.
Good old Newfoundland and Labrador, and as Jeff called them, Newfie caches. I guess that's the nickname for Newfoundland. Newfoundland is Newfie caches.
So
for the dog.
But
right, so we're gonna
Zircon 250.
Zircon 215.
215 is 8 and Wait, did I say that right? No. Wait.
How long? I mean, it's 2 capital M's and 3 lowercase M's.
And then
so an 5. How long do you hold an M for?
Yeah. Do you hold do you hold a capital M longer than a lowercase M?
Right. So
find the person and ask them. So.
All right. So those are the fun statistics for this. We're going to jump in and look at the first one on this list, which just happens to be the oldest one on the list, is outside of Salt Lake City, Utah. It is GC23W2V. It is called a Ace in-flight twist polo pony. So let me share my screen with you real quick. Dun, 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 dun. That one.
Oh yeah,
it's in Utah. Let's go find it. It's not far.
So yeah, it's just up the road from me. We probably drove past it the other day. But this is what you get from the
3.5 3.
It is a 3.5 3. You notice that this thing has a related web page. Right. So when you, so because you can't have that tab is that option is gone now, right?
Yeah.
But when you click on it and go to the related web page, it brings you to a very identical geocache that is the exact same puzzle that the cache owner archived. Right. So, there's got to be something in there with that. At least that was my thought process in this.
Yeah.
Is that there has to be something to do with that related web page. Now, the archived cache is the exact same name with the exact same puzzle, is hidden by the same CO, right? The only difference is that the archived cache has one additional picture on it.
Oh.
So the additional picture that is down there, and it's at the exact same coordinates, right? So so all he did was archive it and then turn around and republish it.
Wow.
And when you look at it, it's kind of funny because the hidden date is the same on both of them, right? So 4/20 of 2008 on both his archived cache and the new one, even though the new one definitely was published long after. Well, I say long after. It was published on 4/21. So.
Oh, that is weird.
No. The new one.
2008.
Yeah. Well, but it doesn't.
You mean the old one?
Yeah. So the archived one is from. Has a 2008, but we'd have to go in and look at some of the cache archives. He has a hidden date that's the same, but there's no published listing in this old one. The first log is from 2010, which is a DNF.
Yeah, what's weird is that the old one, the one
that's archived,
F8N, the archived one,
right?
It does have a publisher note. It has the Red Hiker reviewer published it,
right? But there's not one on the newer one.
Yeah, the newer one doesn't have a publisher, but it's active,
right? So there are a couple of quirks with this one which kind of make it fun. The additional picture that is on the cache page. So if you, let me stop sharing this screen for a second.
Must be blind. So one guy has 79,000 finds. He, I assume, thinks he knows where it is. Again, this is prior to checkers.
Right.
So he goes, must be blind and a great hide I couldn't find. The person before it was in the area, so tried the 3 solutions I'd come up with. 2 were in the middle of no place to hide anything, but the third was very promising in some bushes. Looked pretty carefully, but no good luck today. Thought sure I had it. And then somebody posted a needs maintenance in 2015. A reviewer came along in 2017 and asked the owner to check on it.
And he came back and just said, it's fine.
And is he the owner, though?
Adore? Jacob Barlow?
Barlow.
So,
is that his name? Okay.
So the cache owner's name is Jacob Barlow. He is a prominent cacher in Utah. I've come across a ton of his hides.
Oh, here it is.
But he also
for years.
But the name on his cache page as the person who hid the cache is Adore, AD0ORE, something like that.
Yeah, he used to go by that. Okay.
Right. So that he used to go by that, changed it to Jacob Barlow. But he still, even now, he still hides his new ones under the Adore name. Right. So
sure.
It's kind of fun to follow. Now, some of his caches, some of his older caches that I've gone after that are traditionals.
Yeah.
And you'll read this through tons of his log sheets. His posted coordinates or his solved coordinates for his puzzles are sometimes as far as 30 or 40 feet off. And if you're hunting a micro, 40 feet's a pretty big place to be, you know.
Yeah, it can be.
You know, to be, if you're hunting that, you know, 40 feet's a long way.
Holy cow, he has 600, he's hidden 610 unknown caches. So
yeah. Oh, he's a prolific hider.
He's
I don't think I have ever personally met him, but people that I
with a capital P,
right? People that I do know that have said that he's just the you know, a great guy.
Right.
So you know, but this is if you look at this is the picture that he has posted on his archive listing.
Oh, wow.
That is not on the new cache page listing. And I don't know if this has anything to do with it, but what is this?
Yeah, what is going on?
So this is in
ponies in the other ones, by the way. So I don't know what the ponies have to do with anything.
Right.
Yeah, polo
if
ponies.
If you look at this guy in the dark shirt with the white collar,
yeah,
he's holding a yellow Garmin GPS in his right hand. There is a clear lock and lock with a blue lid on the other side of his notebook right here. This is in Copenhagen.
Oh, I was going to ask that. And it looked like it was in Europe somewhere.
This is a guy got caught on Google Street View of somebody walking down the canal street. He got caught geocaching on Google back in, whenever this picture was taken in 2009.
That's a
So I went to this cache page thinking, hey, maybe this is like a hint.
Right.
And scrolled all the way back to 2009 looking to see if the cache owner had posted a note.
Yeah.
No note. No found log, no note. As far as I could tell, Jacob Barlow hasn't found a cache outside of North America. So I'm not sure why. I don't know why this picture is on the first puzzle for the related webpage, but it is.
Yeah, Jeff said, so the new one is referencing the gallery images of the old one. The old has the extra untitled gallery image. You're right.
Right, which is what we're looking at. This is the untitled gallery image. Yeah, it's weird how it works. But it's and this cache right here had 3,000 finds on it and 300 and it had some crazy number of favorite points. I went and actually found the archived listing. The owner had changed the container a couple of times over the years, and finally it just had enough and was like, we're done with it. But this is a picture on the new cache page. I don't know if that has anything or nothing to do with it, but this is probably the oldest image of somebody being caught geocaching.
Probably so.
Because the cache page changed names partway through.
Wow.
And whatnot to some, but I have the archived cache listed in the show notes.
Yeah.
So it's in there for anybody who wants to go back and look at that. It's GCR4M5, but it is in the show notes. You can go and look at that. But there's no note on that cache in Europe. There's no note written by the CO or anything else that I could find from roughly the time that this cache published. So I was thinking maybe he put a Easter egg in as a right note on this cache in Europe. But if it's there, I couldn't find it. And with Groundspeak changing the way that you have to search old logs on caches, instead of you being able to just click the button to go back to the 10th sheet, right? You have to just scroll all of the logs. Right. And so I started in, when it archived and just scrolled. And my wife came in and looked and was like, what are you doing? I was like, trying to get back to 2008. And she was like, well, just go up there and click on the buttons at the top. And I was like,
doesn't work on the old ones.
They took that away from us. You can no longer search old logs like that. So,
yeah. Obviously something to do with, the name of it is Ace In-Flight Twist Polo Pony, which is all pictures. Of the photos is Ace of Clubs, some sort of in-flight picture on a plane, people doing the twist, which is an old dance for those that are millennials. I'm kidding.
Show us how to do it, Gary. That's back in the twist. Day, isn't it?
Come on, baby.
Oh, don't make him get hurt.
Do the peppermint twist, and then polo and 20. So
then they've got 4 polo riders and the pony.
AITPP. So I don't know. Does that spell something? I mean, obviously people have spent some time on this thing, but what's funny is nobody's there's not a
whole lot on it. Bad data.
Yeah, nobody's really tested this one because nobody's put a note since 2017. Nothing. The owner just says it's fine.
Yeah.
There's been nothing.
No, that's it.
Be fun just to write a note and go, hey,
I think I've solved this. Can you check on it for me?
At the very least, somebody should put a note saying, hey, heard about this cache on Puzzle Talk. Thanks for placing a cache, whatever.
Yeah. So that's the oldest one on the list. It's kind of and I have solved a couple of his puzzles, and some of them are very obscure.
Everyone's ignore list that was on Jeff's list. Well, yeah, it might be.
So I haven't done when I saw who the cache owner was on it, no lie, I was like, I'm going to pass on this.
Oh, get after it. Yeah, okay.
So we'll see. The world's oldest unsolved puzzle cache. It may be worth trying to dig into now for a while.
Is that the world's oldest?
This is the world's oldest now. It used to be GMT2. It's all Phil's fault, and that was located outside of Boise, Idaho. But that one was found this last year, and so people had nothing better to do in COVID than go after the world's oldest puzzle cache, and he solved it. And the container was there, and the first to find prize was still in it.
Wow!
I mean, it was a great story. I was like, man, and I've looked at that puzzle. Even since it's been solved, I've looked at it numerous times and just nope.
Oldest active unfound mystery, and we're just sitting here.
Yeah, we're talking about
solving it.
So,
all right.
So,
if you solve it, of course, let us know.
It would be nice if it had a checker, though.
Well,
you can go back and add one.
Yeah.
If you really know where it is, let Charles know. He and
I'll drive up and sign your name. If you think you found it and you've got email me coordinates, I'll drive up from Phoenix. We'll take a little trip up there, and if it's there and I find it, I'll sign your name to the log sheet first.
There you go. puzzletalkpodcast@gmail.com.
Okay, then we'll talk about this after the show because I have an idea.
Okay.
Ooh.
So the next one that we're going to look at was hidden 9/27 of 2008. It is GC1GJQW. It is.
Did we skip one?
No.
We skipped the GCR4.
Oh, that's the cache that's in Europe.
Oh, okay. All right.
It goes with the first one.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry.
That's So this one is called You're gonna Quai. This one is hidden by Zircon 215 and Moonstone 6. It's hidden by Zircon 215. He put Moonstone 6's name on there. They're a couple from what I gather. And there seems to be some drama between them and their local reviewer. Okay. We'll try to stay out of that, but you'll read it in the cache notes for this one if you scroll down. This is a difficulty 5, terrain 2. It is the oldest unfound puzzle cache in Canada. And then it has a code and a bunch of numbers written down here. And what I did in the show notes is separated them. So let's scroll down here and look. It gives you, it says the Da Vinci Code, not hard. And then it gives you a string of numbers. So 183, 161, 91, 144, 185, 211, and then a semicolon. And so what I did in the show notes was split it and put the next row of numbers on the line below that every time there was a semicolon, right? Just to to separate it out, not knowing if the semicolon's important or not, but I separated it like that. Excuse me, at least in the show notes. There is a space in between the 183, so this first number, and the 161. There's no comma. There's just a space, right? And so that's what put this line on the drop down on the second line. There's also just a space with no comma. It's in here somewhere between. There's another space in here where there's no comma in between two numbers. There's just a space. And so I separated that in the show notes, not knowing if he just missed hitting the comma or if he intentionally put a space in there. I'm not sure.
Right.
But if you look at this, the Da Vinci Code, not hard, even though it's a difficulty 5, this, at least in my mind when I was looking at this, was like, oh, I wonder if this is like a book cipher. And so it's like either the first letter on the page on page 183 and page 161 and page 91. So not sure what all. This one does have a checker though, so you can get in and try your luck with the checker. I've done a little bit of work on this one and put some stuff in the show notes to kind of separate it out. But again, not sure if there's if that plays a role in anything.
He's got the word quai, because I learned from you boys the best thing to do is to look at everything. And if it says you're going to quai and he does it 3 times, what does quai mean? Which I looked it up. It could be a Chinese video sharing app, or it could be the River Kwai, which are 2 rivers in Thailand.
Right.
Kwai is also in DC Comics, and KWAI is a radio station. But I wasn't sure what, which is in Hawaii, by the way. To be in Hawaii right now would be great. Anyway, so I was like, why does he say quai? Or what is quai doing in the...
Yeah.
What is that? Why is that?
What is the significance of it? I'm not sure. It almost wants me to try and find a old version of the Da Vinci Code book before it became like a movie and became famous.
Yeah.
Like a publishing date from before the published date of the cache. And see if there's something in there with a book cipher with these numbers. I don't know, but that's where I keep going back to.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, there's it. What's funny is if you go look, and I don't know, I guess I shouldn't judge these folks, but somebody who has a lot of finds, 18,305, wrote a note, says, nice puzzle, didn't take too long to solve. Oh, really? Hope to get to Newfoundland one of these summers. Thanks for the fun. Yeah. Are you really did you really find it?
Well, and that was earlier this month. So, who knows? Because that log was from 7/6 of 21.
Geochecker doesn't tell you, does it, how many people have found it?
Let me go look.
I don't see it. It's not like it's not like certitude. Not like certitude.
Right.
Where certitude tells you how many have found it.
Right. So just kind of interesting. It's this cache owner has a number of them on the list. I picked this one purely because it was the oldest one in Canada. It was the oldest one by that cache owner, and so I pulled that one and whatnot. It's there's some significance to the numbers. He references the Da Vinci Code, so I would make you think that it, needs to go along those lines, but I don't know what the significance of the numbers are. They're separated out by semicolons and commas. And if you look in the show notes, when I have them separated out on lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
Yeah, lines.
16. So there are 17 lines in total, right? Which is what you need to have north, a north set of coordinates, west, and a west set of coordinates, right? Is 17, including the N and the W, right? So you need 15 numbers to make up a set of coordinates in a degrees decimal minutes format, right?
Yeah, and just for grants, I tried the coordinates just for the fun of it, since we're sitting here, and the geochecker said that those coordinates are not good. So I thought, what the heck, I'll try it.
Yeah. So I wholeheartedly believe that the numbers somehow get you to some coordinates somehow. I'm not sure how yet, but knowing that I have a book cipher out there, if I can find me an older copy of the Da Vinci Code, I may try and take a stab at this one.
Right.
It's a long kayak trip to St. John's Island from where I'm at, but that'd probably be the only way I get into Canada before they open up their border and I can drive.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it'll be interesting to see kind of how this one plays out. But says that it's a well-hidden 35 millimeter film canister. And from looking at some of this cache owner's other caches that he has that are published and have been found, sounds like he's a doozy of a hider. Right. So that difficulty 5 may be partially for the puzzle, and it may be partially for the hide, because the hide from some of his other caches, it just, people are like, yeah, I touched it several times before I realized that's what it was. Like, camo blends in really well. We'll see.
Interesting.
So we'll be right, but yes.
Oh, yeah. Jeff.
Remember that there's supposed to be a 0 between the W and the 5. In order for it to be proper format, there's a 0 in there, which accounts for all 17 numbers.
Sure.
Right. So remember that for that format, there is your westerly and easterly coordinates all have a 0 as a 3-digit for the degrees, because they go all the way up to 179. So proper formatting is West 057.
Right. We just kind of ignore that.
So, well, it doesn't have to be a 0. You're correct. But in order for it to be correct format for what I have found,
this one doesn't have to be nearby, because it's an old, could be miles away.
Yeah, it does not have to be within the 2 miles for this one. So,
well, you would include 0. You would include 0 if you needed to include a 1. Is that way to put it? If your west coordinate was 110,
then your coordinates for 99 need to be 099.
99. What's supposed to be. But you don't have to, because it'll most. But if you're putting it in a geochecker, true, you got to have it in there.
I'm telling you, formatting is important.
It can be.
It's,
especially maybe for the way he did it. So anyway, all right.
So moving on. This is a geocaching in space event cache, but it's a puzzle.
How's event cache? It's not an event.
That's just the title of it. So it's GC4RJ62. Let me share this one with y'all.
Page 26. GC4RJ26.
Yes, sir.
Gotcha.
So this is the only one that is in Illinois, right?
Yeah.
Oh no, this one's not in. Yeah, this one is. This is the only one in Illinois. So Direwolf, if you're on the show tonight, it's time that you get after this one. You solved our puzzle on the back of our T-shirt, so I have no doubt that you can solve this one. So it pretty much. So let's see. It was hidden.
Tell you what it is too. They just
it was hidden 11/26 of 2013. It should be fairly simple math.
Terrain 1.5. Come on.
You just got to work out a couple of math formulas. Yeah. And it gives you that on the cache page. It says multiply 0.813695% and the rough distance of the International Space Station from Earth. Well, the International Space Station is 254 miles from Earth. I went and found that number for you.
Roughly. There you go. So multiply by 0.813695%.
So 0.0081, right?
Exactly.
So, and then you have to multiply 4.51811 and the angular distance of the orbital plane from the plane of reference of the International Space Station. Well, I went and found that number for you also. That is 0.663 radians, right? Because circles are measured in radians. Right. So it's 0.663 radians. I'm not sure if we can get our guy from the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, that little smart doctor guy, back
Beagle, we get him on. Yep.
I don't know if we can get maybe a little nudge from Dr. Beagle, our friends over at JPL.
That's right.
There is a fun website that I did find while doing some research for this one that has to do with catch-up speed and stuff for shuttles that are trying to rendezvous with the International Space Station. I just put it into the chat in case anybody is interested. But it is a very interesting read if this stuff strikes your fancy as to what it takes for a space shuttle to catch up to the International Space Station and then meet its speed and then dock with it so that they can offload stuff onto from a shuttle or a rocket up to the International Space Station. So it was a very interesting read. There's a lot of math and science information on there. But once you get those numbers right, you have to from that location, you'll need to project a waypoint, at so many feet at a bearing of so many degrees. So
you got this one done, right, Tom, already? Come on.
No.
No. Come on. That's no big deal.
So it's at some point I've taken calculus. I wasn't real good at it, but I've taken the class. I got college credit for it, which doesn't say a whole lot. But even some of this was like, I was like, wait a second. So how do I multiply radians into this 4.51811? Like they have to be in common math formats, So how do I convert one into plain math or the other into radians? So there was some other work that I was kind of doing on this one until I realized it was like 2 a.m. and decided to go crawl in bed last night.
What's funny one's percentage, the first one's a percentage by 0.8. Next one's just a flat multiply, and then you have to project a waypoint xx.x. Where's that coming from? In a bearing of xxx degrees. And then he gives you a hint, 4QTTO. Is that a website? I mean, another GC code?
I don't know. I didn't even go look at it, but might be worth looking at.
Is that a GC? I don't know. I'll take a look.
But it's he does some talk about the International Space Station. He does put the travel bug link to the travel bug that went to the ISS.
Yeah. That's what it was. It was a flash mob they had called "We're Going to Space" flash mob.
Aha! So there may be something in that cache page that helps you, or in the source code, or in a log in it. So it's worth going in and looking at, and maybe looking at the travel bug page for back in the day for maybe a write note on the travel bug page.
Yeah.
Who knows? Awesome. There's a lot of possibilities, but there's nothing glaring in the HTML on the backside of any of these caches. So if there was anything that was in the source code, it doesn't show up as like hidden text or whatnot back there. So nothing in any of these tells you that you'll be able to solve it by looking at the source code. So
there might be something on that archived page. So that's also another thing to go take a look at.
Yeah. So that's good that you pulled this. This is the ending of a GC code down here in the hint section.
Yeah.
So worth going back and looking at and seeing where that'll get you. There may be something in it.
Yeah, maybe.
So, yeah, and some of these are just, because we're looking at a multitude of these across different countries or different cache owners in different regions of the country. It's not like Tom where you can kind of get a feel for, this is how that old EWB likes to hide some of his puzzles, and I'm going to go, look here for it first. We've got an eclectic group of caches that we're looking at that all fall way outside the norms for puzzles. So because they're all old and predate any of the new puzzle requirements, it's a crapshoot.
Yeah. It's interesting on now we're running out of time, but the next one has 23 people have solved it, but nobody's ever gone and found it.
Right.
Weird.
So this is the one, and let me share it real quick. Yeah. This is the one that has the most solves or the most found it's. It's called McPoppy 100 AR #final or pound final.
Yeah.
When I was reading that, I thought maybe this is one of those that needs to get thrown out, but I left it in because it wasn't glaringly that this one needed to be scrubbed. This one is in Sweden. It is. Let's see if we can do this. Translate to English.
That's the first part of the puzzle for us.
So it says the coordinates above are false. It says when you find the right one, use the geochecker to get coordinates. Now, in this, when you
maybe they're not.
When you look at the view larger map of this, and it's not going to pop up for you guys. So let me do that real quick. Hang on, we're going to share. So when you look at the view larger map, right, it there. It takes you to this, right? And so there's a ring of these caches, and then there looks like there used to be an inner ring, and then this dot in the middle is the McPoppy number 100, right?
Okay.
So you have number 22, 17, 19, 20, 21, right? And so you're obviously missing a couple here. I didn't know if this is one of those cases where you had to find something in one of these other mystery caches and plug it into the geochecker to get coordinates for the one, and maybe that's how it's been solved so many times. The problem is that this cache is a terrain 5.
Yeah, it is.
Right?
Yeah, what's weird is all the rest of that ring, for the most part, are 1.5, 1.5.
Right.
A couple of them are. There's a 2 and a 2.5 in there, but
right. So, but this one is a 5.5, and when you read the hint, it tells you loosen the carabiner hook and release the jar to the surface. After logging, pull the cover down onto the string and anchor it as you found it. So that makes me think that, and this is what we were talking about before the show, Gary, is that I think this one's on a loop of rope that is out in the water somewhere, and the carabiner is at one end of it and the cache is down underwater. So you undo the carabiner and like pulling the rope on a flagpole, as you pull on one side, the other side goes up. So the cache container is down underwater. You let it come to the surface, and then to get it back, you have to pull on the one string to get the carabiner back to the top and hook it on so that the cache stays submerged wherever it is. That would constitute the 5 for terrain if you needed a boat. A boot.
True.
A kayak of some kind.
Yeah, I'm looking at all these other McPoppy ones, and it's just kind of odd. They don't really seem to. I mean, I think you're right about the water, but the rest of them really don't. They're not really near water, which is kind of. Well, they're fine.
Yeah,
they're all.
Right. So when you look at where this is at along the coast in Sweden, it makes you. Hey, putting it out in water probably is correct. Now, again, this one does not have to. When did the 2 mile rule come in?
Oh gosh,
2008, somewhere along in there.
So there you go.
Did it?
It's near water, that's for sure.
Yeah. So this one could easily be, out in this area or out in this area. Or even, up in one of these. So there's no telling. Water may have something to do with it, but and that may be why it's been solved 23 times,
and nobody
has gone out to find it because they're like, oh well,
What's interesting is that it says final. So my guess is, I'm wondering if you have to find information in the other caches, like those other McPoppy ones.
Yep.
I wonder if you've got to go, and that's why those people have gotten the correct coordinates, because they went out
and found the other ones and just kept going. Darren does point out that it does have the scuba attribute.
Oh yeah, see, there you go.
So
smart.
It probably is somewhere in the water with that. Who knows? It'll be interesting to see if this one ever gets found.
Yeah, and what's of course bizarre is the cache is probably by somebody who didn't want others to know who he was, because I think they made up an account, which
is this a sock puppet account? It looks like.
Yeah, it's a sock puppet. The 0 finds, 24 hides. They haven't been on since 2017, but my guess is that they just didn't want people to maybe know who hid these. It's like that was their way around it, so that maybe they could. You know what I mean?
Could be.
They hit it.
Yeah. And so a lot of these write notes in it are talking about how they've solved it, or at least got correct coordinates from it, but still going to be too difficult to go and get to. So
interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting how some of this all works, but let's see. The next one is one that until I got to work today, hadn't realized that it was one that I've actually been working on for a while. This one is GC 5X9XM. It is called an empty space on the map. It is a difficulty 4.5, terrain 1.5, and it is located. This is one by It is located in Oregon.
I put in the notes in the banner behind there, so we're good.
Yeah, so it tells you that the cache is not at the posted coordinates, and what once was an empty space is no longer. Just another little puzzle to poke at the perceived need to clear the map. The puzzle is below. Enjoy.
Yeah, the Geocheck.
It has one find,
one correct answer, and 809 incorrect.
809 incorrect. Probably about 5 to 10 of those are mine. I actually have this cache page printed out, and me and my buddy at work we sit there and kind of poke at it and try to work on it a little bit while we're at work.
Right.
I've got several sets of incorrect coordinates. So if you're working on this one, or if you decide to try and work on this one, just shoot me a message. I'll send you a list of the coordinates that I know don't work.
There you go. I'll send you all the incorrect ones.
That's right. That way, if you're running down that road, you can just kind of stop. A couple of things that I did notice about this, right, and they're kind of some interesting things. So let me blow this cache page up real quick for our viewers. So the numbers are arranged like a set of pool balls. And
what's going on here?
So there's a 2 at the very top, and the 2 balls that are underneath it are a 12 and a 4. Well, 2 times 12 gives you 24.
Which is below it.
Which is below the 12.
Right.
Right. And then 2 times 4 is 8, which is
correct
below
there.
Is right.
And then
so
12,
then if
13, 14 are in line. And
12, 13, 9. 14, you got 24 and 25. And 8 and 9. So you sit there and look at it and you're like, oh, all right. So there's some kind of pattern to this.
What in the wide sports is going on?
Right. So 5 squared is 25. So it's just kind of weird the way that some of this stuff works.
Is that there to confuse you? Maybe?
I don't know. But if you look at this, I believe at some level, all of the cue balls, or all of the balls on the cache page, all somehow make up your coordinates.
You think?
Right? So if you do West 122, you can do the 12 ball and either the 2, or you can do the 12 ball and the 24, and that gives you 122 for your degrees, and then 4 something for your minutes, or the 12 and the 25 to give you 122.5.
So Jeff's saying each of the graphics are from something that used those numbers too. So 24 is was a TV show. 8 ball for pool. So, and the 13, the 13 has horns. So
and a devil's tail.
So I'm thinking that's from some probably minor league baseball team. The
14 is definitely from
looks like
a baseball jersey.
Yeah. Yeah, 24 is from the show 24. You can tell by the way it looks at the 5 is from I-5. It's the
Yeah, the
5
interstate.
in the US.
You know.
Yeah, the 12 looks a lot like a retired baseball number would look like that, or some sort of sports number.
Yep.
Some of the others don't though. 25 looks like it's
something for like scope,
like a
some
target.
type of
yeah,
target or a scope, some type of shooting sport.
The 4 is out of place, kind of.
The 4, the 2, and the 9 are kind of,
yeah, that's really weird. Maybe they don't know with each other.
They may not. He just may have found him some numbers that look good and rolled with it. I have no idea. But it is interesting that there are, within the set of numbers in here, there are patterns within them. So
it was the name, by the way, of that gallery image. It's all about the numbers. What else could it be about?
Oh, right.
That's the name of the. So I'm wondering if, I don't know. Tom, you've been quiet tonight. What are your thoughts? Gonna put a watch on it?
Well, so I started back at Once Upon a Time. Yeah. So with the coordinates and the puzzles, you could have 10 sets of numbers, right?
Yeah.
Which there's 10 balls.
Right.
Or you could have 15 numbers. And if you break the numbers up in there, there's 15 numbers.
Oh, right. Separate them out. Separate them out. 1 and a 4. Right. But is it about? I wonder. So Charles, have you looked through the source info to see if there's anything in there you could find?
Yeah, I went through the source code on all of these, and I couldn't find anything hidden in the source code on any of them.
Gotcha.
So
interesting,
or at least for the ones that we're looking at, I didn't go through the source code on all 59 caches.
Right.
On the bookmark list, just the ones that we're kind of highlighting and going over tonight. So, we'll, there's kind of some snarkiness with the cache owner. At some point, I kind of like that, and at some point, I'm kind of like, but you get a guy who came in here at 2016 with a lot of fines. He at least has a lot of fines now. He may not have had near that number in 2016, but I don't see. It started off as he bumped the difficulty up a half a star.
He did.
So it went from a 4 to a 4.5.
But 5 years, this one's just basically been ignored. Nobody's even challenged it. Like, oh, is this cache really there? They didn't put a needs maintenance. I mean, I wouldn't do that. But I'm saying somebody. You think that?
Well, remember that he's got this cache owner has 7 in Portland that are on this list.
Yeah,
in the Portland area. And so the local caching community probably knows him fairly well.
Yeah.
And probably is, and this is not his oldest cache that's on this list, right? It just happens that I just happen to have the sheet printed off, and me and my buddy who was in the Air Force, we both kind of look at it he's like, I'm going to take a break. Give me that sheet. And I'll hand it to him, and
go take a look.
He'll kind of come up with some numbers, and we'll punch them into the to the checker. And no, that one wasn't right. He's like, all right, well, and whatnot. So, we've kind of, that's the only reason I highlighted this one of his, is because unbeknownst to me, I've been working on it for, the past, couple of months.
Yeah.
Unsuccessfully.
I'm sure you've added them and subtracted them and done all that kind of stuff.
Oh, we've worked on it, and whatnot. But yeah, who knows? So
that's crazy. It gives there's no hint, right? Oh yeah, the hint is be sure to use the checker. So I'm wondering if can you hide something in GeoCheck? I don't think you can.
Not that I don't know.
I don't think can you? Did you know of a way to hide anything on the check page, Tom? I don't see where you can.
No, not unless it's a fake one.
Yeah.
Oh well, it takes. I mean, I clicked on it. It takes me to GeoCheck.
.org.
.org. Yeah, and I don't.
I mean, you'd have to have source code access to that website to be able to hide something back there.
Yeah.
Which I don't think is probably going to happen.
No, it does. It's not really the kind that you could. I don't know. That's really
weird. So, and then the last one that we're going to look at tonight, Gary, do you like scary movies?
No, I do not.
Tom, do you like horror movies?
I do not, but I was just looking at the posted coordinates of where this thing is at, and it's right down the street from Woodstock Park.
Right. So
anything to do with it?
This one is GC 5EYQ8. It is called Scary, and this one's also in Illinois. So let me share my screen for this one. If you like horror movies, you may kind of find this one a little easy. It is a difficulty 4.5. It is a terrain 2. And so it tells you with Halloween 2014 coming up, I figured why not put out a scary cache. All the numbers you need are in the picture below. Some pictures you will need, some you won't, but look closely and don't get scared. And then it tells you north 40 degrees, and then you got to fill in the decimal minutes, and then west 89 degrees, and you have to fill in the 5 missing for the decimal minutes. And
use Jason twice, he says in the
hint does say use Jason 2 times.
2 times.
So, Gary, on this top line, do you know who these people are?
Freddie, right? The first one. The next one would be
Jason Voorhees.
Jason Voorhees.
Yep, there's Jason.
Halloween. I do not know the third one.
Okay.
The fourth one is the dude from Saw.
So
is
his name is Jigsaw. So it's Freddy Jason Creeper, which is he's the guy from Jeepers Creepers.
Oh, okay.
And then Jigsaw.
Chucky.
And then the middle line is Chucky.
Pinhead.
I
know what you did last summer. Is that what that movie's from? I know
it's that or is that Scream?
Or Scream.
It's from Scream, and the character's name is Ghostface.
Ghostface, okay. And then, oh gosh, I should know the fourth one. Is that it's a ventriloquist dummy, right?
Yes, it's a marionette puppet.
Okay. Oh, okay.
So yeah, it's his name is Billy, and it is from the movie Dead Silence.
Oh, okay. Now I wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't know that. Now the fourth one though, isn't that once again Jason?
That's Mike. No, that's Mike Myers.
Oh, that's Mike Myers. Sorry,
yeah, that's right. Michael Myers. So
that's
there's
Halloween, right?
That's yes.
And the Friday the 13th was okay, yeah. And then
Jason is from Friday the 13th.
Yeah, right. Okay, got those mixed up. Sorry. And then the fourth one.
So you have.
The second.
So you have Jason, and then the next one you don't know.
I do not know the one next to Michael
Tom?
Myers.
Do you know who that is next to Michael Myers?
Mm-mm.
So that is.
Let me blow that up though on my end.
That is the Candyman.
Oh, okay.
From the horror movie Candyman, he has a giant hook for a hand on one side.
Oh, I got you.
The problem with this is that I do not know who the third character is.
It looks sort of like is it a variation on the leprechaun? Or is this possibly?
It shows up when you do a Google image search for classic horror movie antagonists. It shows up.
Huh.
But I can't figure out who he is or where he came. And I like horror movies. Like, I love scary movies.
Oh, okay.
Much to my wife's dismay, because she does not enjoy them.
The last one's Predator. That's an easy one.
And then the last one is the Predator. So this third one on the third row down between Candyman and the Predator is the only one that I don't know.
Somebody in the chat room might be able to help us out.
I don't know if somebody in the chat room would know who this person is.
Could it be from Krampus? Let me look.
Well,
this is old, so it's not going to be. Krampus is a fairly newer movie. Oh, no. Yeah, well, he has horns.
Wishmaster.
He looks a little like the Krampus dude.
Wishmaster Jin.
He but it wouldn't be from because these are all from movies. So.
Oh, yeah,
that's who it is.
That's who it is.
Who is it?
It's the Jin. He also called himself the Wishmaster.
Wishmaster. Okay.
Yeah. So Jeff pulled that out for us. Thanks, Jeff.
But
yeah, those things that some people just don't do. The Wishmaster. So the hard part about this is that he gives you he gives you 12 characters, but you only need
10
numbers, but you have to use Jason twice. So in reality, you only need 9 of these 12 characters. Which nine do you need?
Yeah, and he tells you wouldn't. He says some of these pictures you will not need. So
So some of these are. So it makes it even trickier, because then you're like, all right, well, is this like? Do we need to go back and figure out how many Freddy Krueger movies there were? Or is this a picture from Freddy Krueger number 3?
And there's no checker.
There is a checker. There is a checker. Yeah, it's down here.
Oh, there it is.
It's underneath the picture.
Yeah, I see it. There's a tool. That helps.
So there is a checker for this.
Yeah, Geochecker. Yeah, okay, cool. So that does that. I wouldn't. I don't know if I'd work on a puzzle this difficult if it didn't have some way
to checker. Yeah,
I think so.
So some of these, like Jigsaw, was not in every Saw movie.
Wait, this came out. Okay, so this was hidden in 2014, so it's not It's not too old, and it's going to be within the 2 mile radius. Correct?
Yes. So it's just one of those things that it's like, all right, and I like this. Karen's getting in there. She's like, "Hey, look, Chucky's holding up 5."
That's right.
And
one's holding up a 1. You might be onto something.
Freddy's holding up a 2. But we've got to use Jason twice, and Jason's, at this point, are we counting the holes in Jason's ski mask, or
he's holding one? He's holding one knife, so
yeah. So it's just kind of interesting, but like Jigsaw's not in every Saw movie,
correct?
And
so I thought he was.
No, it's kind of interesting.
Freddy's kind of holding. Is that a
2?
Upside down 7?
2.
Oh, 2. Okay.
Who knows?
I would agree with 2. Predator has 3 dots on his So that's probably a 3.
Right.
Probably.
Billy's holding up one finger, hushing his mouth. Right.
Yeah.
You know, so
0. Yeah.
You know, so there's no there are, but then in what order do they go in? Are they from top right or top left to bottom right, or you know, whatever the case may be? It's an interesting puzzle. I like it purely because it's got a bunch of characters that when I was a little kid kept me up at night and probably had me wet the bed a couple of times, because I can remember Freddy Krueger and Chucky scaring the bejesus out of me when I was a little kid. Did that stop me from watching the movies? No. But did it keep me up at night? Yes, for sure. So, you know, I picked this one just because I was like, oh yeah, look at this, you know, horror movie, you know.
Yeah. 2 sets of 8 holes in the mask. I don't know. That's kind of, yeah.
Yeah, well, it did say use Jason twice.
It did.
So it's things to ponder about. And there are, you know, if you make headway on some of these, hey, shoot us an email and let us know what train of thought, you know, you went down and whatnot. It would be interesting at the least to figure out how somebody came to a conclusion with these, or in the case of one that I'm working on, if you want the wrong coordinates so that you're not running down that rabbit hole, let me know. I'll help you out.
I'll help you out.
You know, but the fun thing about this is that the one that's in Asia is outside of Bangkok, Thailand. So probably even if it gets solved, because I've got a friend who lives in Bangkok, who moved from Montana or from northern Wyoming out there because he married a lady from Bangkok.
Right.
And he lives there most of the year right now. Anyhow, you know, he's always game for going up on a caching adventure. You know, but the ones down in Australia, they're, you know, a couple outside of Perth and then a couple way down. I guess, well, let me show you all that real quick. I can pull up the bookmark list.
Okay.
And then map it so that we can kind of look at where some of these concentrations are at. Just because I think it's kind of neat to look at that.
While Charles is doing that, one reminder is until we've moved them, which we haven't done that yet, you can always find the show notes. They'll be up later tonight. You can go to geocachetalk.com/show-notes/ or you can go to the Geocache Talk portion of the website and then go to show notes. We are going to separate out the Puzzle Talk show notes into its own section, but we haven't done that yet, but we will soon.
Right. So there's a good look at them. The conglomerate that's up here on St. John's Island, the ones that are up around Portland. Yeah. There's a good conglomerate of them up in the Utah area.
Right.
One in Mexico, one in Argentina.
Wow, the Australian ones are not near each other. One's in the far southeast, and the other's in the far southwest. But
yeah, so there are a couple outside with Envy. It's south of Perth, and then
it's a hike for some of these folks. Oh, there's a little There's 3 down there.
And then the other 3 are just outside of Melbourne.
Oh, okay. So yeah,
so
you could make a trek down that way.
Yeah, it's a real go for like Darren, because Darren lives like right here, roughly, like right underneath the O in Oceania.
Oh,
so he lives like smack dab in the middle of the country, and you figure that Australia is roughly the size of the United States. So,
Correct.
That's like driving from Kansas to Miami to go grab a couple of caches, right? So,
yeah, no, you'd have to plan a trip.
Yeah. So, is a, there's the one outside of Bangkok, Thailand.
Yeah, he says under the A.
Oh, under the A. All right.
Yeah, he said.
In Oceania. Okay.
Yeah, under the A.
Yeah. So I did get.
Kitty Cat said she's supposed to go there, but
going to Perth next.
COVID restrictions.
Man, they're killing people. So that's a good look at where some of those are around the world. Outside of the big conglomerates of them in some of these high density areas, most of them are spread out pretty well. So the show notes have all of the research and stuff that I've done on it. I'll go in and fix my question marks for the last one to put Wishmaster in there and whatnot. So get into the show notes if you want to look at one of these that we've done, and you can at least see the stuff that I have done on it.
Yep. And
then go from there with it. Take it.
Yep. Interesting. Well, thank you so much. That was a fun show. It's always fascinating to find out what's still out there. Is always, to me, regardless of whether it's puzzles or traditionals but thank you very much. We will see everyone. Make sure I get this right.
You got a set of coordinates on there.
We do have a set of coordinates we could check. Somebody sent while somebody's checking those coordinates, maybe we will be back on August 10th and then the 17th. And if you're a patron, we're going to have a patron night on August 24th.
Patron night.
Play some more murder mystery or something cool. We'll play some game together where we have audience participation like we do before. So
those are fun.
All right. Very cool. All right. We'll see everybody next month. If you have any, if you want to give us any suggestions or comments or questions,
rating emails,
whatever, you can send them to puzzletalkpodcast@gmail.com.
That's right.
That one right there. All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night.